You ever notice how every time Islam is mentioned on Western news, it's always chaos, conflict, or fear? But here's the part no one's talking about. The stories that never make it to TV, the moments that could flip the whole narrative upside down. Why is that truth being buried so deep? What are they so afraid of people discovering? Man, this is something that's been bugging me for a long time. Like, you start paying attention, and you realize almost every single time Islam comes up in the media, it's in some negative context. It's either terrorism, war, or some crazy extremist headline. But here's what's wild. You dig just a little deeper, you start looking outside that narrow Western bubble, and you realize there's this entire world of peace, discipline, community, and meaning that people never get to see. It's like the camera's intentionally pointed in one direction, showing only the fire and never the water. And that makes you ask, why? Why is that? Because if you really wanted to understand Islam, you'd start by talking to the average Muslim, the guy running a coffee shop, the woman teaching kids, the family that prays together every day and treats it like meditation. But no, the news never shows that. Instead, they find the one psycho waving a gun and say, "This is Islam." It's like if you took one serial killer from Texas and said, "This is Christianity." It's lazy, it's dishonest, and it's dangerous. You know what really shocks me? How easy it is to manipulate people with repetition. You say the same thing enough times: Muslims are dangerous, Islam is violent, and people just start believing it, even if they've never met a Muslim in their life. And that's where the media has so much power. They don't just inform, they shape emotion. They literally tell you who to love and who to fear. But here's the part that trips me out. When you actually read what Islam teaches, when you really go into it without that political filter, it's the complete opposite of what's portrayed. It talks about peace, humility, self-control, helping others, seeking knowledge. Like, dude, the first word revealed in the Quran was red. Think about that. The foundation of the whole faith starts with the pursuit of knowledge. That's not the vibe of some mindless, violent ideology. That's a message of awareness. And yet, somehow, people associate it with destruction. You gotta ask yourself, who benefits from that kind of misunderstanding? Because fear is profitable. It sells headlines, drives ratings, fuels wars, and justifies policies. You keep people afraid, and you keep them obedient. You can invade countries, steal resources, rewrite history, all while the average person thinks they're on the good side. I remember talking to this guy once who had converted to Islam after years of being an atheist. He told me it wasn't about rituals or rules, it was about finding purpose. He said it made him slow down and really look at his life, and you could feel it, man. He wasn't brainwashed or weird about it, he was grounded, peaceful. And it made me wonder, what if the world saw that version of Islam instead of the headlines? What if people saw the philosophy, not just the politics? There's this weird double standard, too. When a Muslim does something good, like saves lives, builds schools, donates millions to charity, it's just a man or a philanthropist. But if a Muslim does something bad, it's a Muslim terrorist. The label only comes out when it suits the narrative. And that's the trick. It's subtle, but it works. It keeps this invisible line between us and them. You know what's crazy? Islam is one of the fastest growing religions in the world, especially in places like Europe and the US. And it's not growing because people are being forced into it. It's growing because people are choosing it. People who grew up atheist or Christian or secular, they read the Quran, they study the teachings, and something resonates. That's powerful, because it means people are seeing past the noise. And maybe that's what scares the media the most. Maybe what they're really afraid of is people realizing that Islam isn't the villain. It's just been framed that way. Imagine if millions of people started seeing Muslims not as others, but as people with values that actually make sense. Discipline, family, gratitude, purpose. That changes everything. That breaks the control mechanism. It's also wild how the word Allah freaks people out like it's some different god. But Allah literally just means God in Arabic. Arabic-speaking Christians use the same word, so when Muslims say Allahu Akbar, it doesn't mean death to the West like the movies make it sound. It means God is greater. It's literally an expression of awe, like saying, wow, God's amazing. But the way it's framed on TV, it's like a war cry, total distortion. And here's something else. The Quran actually tells Muslims that killing one innocent soul is like killing all of humanity. That's literally in the text. How many people know that? How many times have you heard that quoted on the news? Never. Because it doesn't fit the story. I think what's really happening is that the West is scared of losing control over the narrative of truth. Because once people start questioning that narrative, they start questioning everything: politics, economics, the whole system. And Islam, whether you believe in it or not, is one of those forces that makes people think deeper about existence, about what really matters. It doesn't serve the same gods as consumerism or ego. It's about surrender, not to power or media or governments, but to something bigger. You watch Muslims pray, and you can see it. That physical act of bowing down, touching their forehead to the ground. It's humbling. It's like a daily reminder that you're not the center of the universe. That's a lesson everyone could use, regardless of faith. But again, the cameras don't show that. They show the smoke, not the stillness. And that's not accidental. It's narrative engineering. It's the oldest trick in the book: divide and control. You create an enemy, keep people emotionally charged, and suddenly they stop asking real questions. And maybe that's why conversations like this matter, because if you strip away the fear and just talk human to human, you start realizing how similar we all are. We all want peace, family, meaning, truth. It's just that the noise keeps drowning it out. So, yeah, when I see how Islam's portrayed, I can't help but feel like the truth's being hidden in plain sight. Maybe it's too inconvenient, maybe it challenges too much, but man, if there's one thing I've learned doing this podcast, it's that the truth always finds a way out. You can suppress it, twist it, bury it under headlines, but eventually people start waking up. They start asking the same question I'm asking right now. What if everything we've been told about Islam is wrong? And that question alone might be what they're most afraid of.